is that I feel like they establish throughout the course of the movie that pretty much as soon as you get bit, it's pretty much a wrap for you at that moment in time. How many hours was it? But like by the end of the movie, he still hadn't turned into a fucking zombie, even though he'd been bitten.
Yeah. I think he was on a transatlantic flight to Dubai, which is at least 16 hours.
Let's get into this real quick, dude. Okay. Army of the Dead. Let's just roll through this because I don't want to spend more time on this than we have to. What was your overall impressions of Army with the Dead, or Army of the Dead, rather?
So last week I ordered a pizza.
This is going to be a great story. I'm now riveted.
Listen, whenever you start a story way fucking left, as long as the person you're dealing with is as good as I am, it's always going to come back and make perfect sense. So anyway, last week I ordered a pizza, right? Now, it was from this pizza spot in Philadelphia that had been super fucking hyped, right? Yeah. And I'm like, at the end of the day, it's just a pizza. There's only so many different ways you can make it. Fresh ingredients here, organic shit there, vegan shit. Maybe you have I
might have to disagree.
Maybe you have like homemade pasta sauce, right? Like, there's really only so many ways, right? Like it's either
I have to disagree with you, dude. Look,
how so?
One with like popular chains, right? Like with like the chain ones. Look, there's a difference between like Papa John's and like fucking like Domino's, right? Like there's a difference. There's a difference between the sauce.
Yeah, but we're not even talking about those guys.
No. What I'm saying is between like the popular chains, right? Like there's difference. Like I noticed the difference between those, and then two, going to like your specialty pizza places, right? Bruh, like you can have some trash pizza, or you can have some. This joint is fire. Like
so let's just focus on the specialty ones, right? Forget Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, right? The specialty ones where it's like they may say, oh, we make our own sauce here. We make our own dough every morning. We have fresh ingredients every day, right? So for those places, all things the same, there's only so many different ways that you can make a pizza. Or so I thought. And now this place is one particular place in Philly. I forget the fucking name of it. It'll come to me. But anyway, so like you get there, they tell you to call, but they never pick up their phone. Right? When you get there, you can't go into the pizza shop. You have to call from outside, which takes like 20 minutes to get somebody on the phone to place your order. It was a fucking nightmare, which turned me off to the whole experience. I'm like, you know what? I've done this shit before. I've had pizza before. This is not going to be any different. Long story short, I get this pizza box, right? It is the heaviest pizza box I've ever felt in my life, which I knew was a holy shit. I don't know what is in here, but this is going to be fire. There's a lot of ingredients in this bitch. Yeah. We get home. Somehow the pizza got hotter I swear, the pizza got hotter as we drove home. So like when I got the pizza box, it was like, it was hot, fresh pizza out of the brick oven. We get back to the house. It's steaming hot now. I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on here? I take a bite of the pizza. It fucked me up. This pizza was so good. So how does this relate to this film, right? We've seen zombie movies before. I've seen The Walking Dead. I love The Walking Dead. How much different could Army of the Dead be? And isn't there another movie called Army of the Dead, right? Like an old one?
Yeah.
And isn't that with the guy, he had like the chainsaw shotgun or something like that?
No. You're thinking of something different. That's, it's going to come to me here in a sec. But
no, something similar, right? Yeah. So when I went into watching Army of the Dead, I'm like, all right, I love the cast, Dave Bautista, Omari Hardwick, a few other familiar faces. This is a zombie movie, in Vegas, the glitz, the glamour is going to be like fun and theatrical. But I didn't expect this movie to be, I thought I would get a lot of action, bang, bang, shoot 'em up, a lot of killing zombies, blah, blah, blah. I didn't expect this movie to have the touch of substance that it did, right? Not much, don't get me wrong. Just the touch of substance that it did. Somewhat of a storyline. And it was actually a little bit more charming than...
Somewhat of a story.
Somewhat of a story. It doesn't mean much. It's a zombie movie. Somewhat of a storyline, right? And it didn't... I didn't expect everything that I got from it. But what I got from it was a really good zombie movie with a different take on it. So, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah. That was a long way to go to just say I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I also wanted to tell you about that pizza.
Christ. Yo, what is story time with you like? Jesus Christ, that's a story that lasts like precisely 8 hours. Okay, the princess went to the castle. The princess got lost, and then she ate some pizza from this place. I can't remember the name. It's just this is a never-ending story.
Long stories. They go to bed faster.
Okay. So look, I'll say this. Because it was Zack Snyder, I was like, all right, let me pay a little more attention than I would usually a movie like this. Just because, I've heard some things about Zack Snyder and the things that he tries to put into movies. This movie is a weird fucking movie, dude. I'll be honest with you. I don't know where to place it. It was neither here nor there. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but at the same time, it wasn't even approaching the best thing I've ever seen. It was just a weird fucking movie. From everything from like the cinematography to the story itself. Weird. Like the way that they shot it was weird, and it's even made even weirder given the fact that Chris D'Elia was supposed to be in the movie. Tig Notaro, the person who is like the helicopter person. That was supposed to be
Chris D'Elia.
Chris D'Elia, yeah. Yo, the best thing about the movie is that they did a fantastic job scrubbing him from the movie, which is I thought that they just reshot everything, but in truth, it was all CGI shit. It wasn't, to my knowledge, there wasn't a scene, and they might have done a scene or two where they recreated stuff, maybe when it was just her in the scene, but they basically just mapped over him, which is amazing. There was only one particular scene where I was like, nah, this looks mad suspect. But aside from that, and it was like a wide group shot, and I was like, whatever. Like, it's forgivable. Knowing that the rest of it was just shot, outside of, they had to reshoot shit with her and then map it over him, which was like, holy shit. Why didn't Fast
One of the interesting things
7
about that too. I mean, Fast and Furious 7 is the same thing they did with the two
Paul
brothers
Walker.
of Paul Walker. But one of the interesting things about that is like Dave Bautista and the actress who plays the helicopter pilot.
Yeah, Tig Notaro, I believe. I might be getting her last name wrong, but I definitely have her first name because I watched a couple. Tig, it's Tig. Okay, Tig Notaro. Yeah.
So the actress Tig Notaro who plays the helicopter pilot, like, so they still never met in person because they filmed obviously everything separately, and she did some stuff remotely. But the way they were able to put this film together, like, unless you knew the background about like what happened with Chris D'Elia, whatever the fuck his name, D'Elia, you would never really even be able to tell. Yeah, you'd have to really look for it.
Which is incredible. It's the biggest compliment I can give the movie is that they did a fantastic job with that, like, genuinely speaking. But aside from that, the cinematography for me was fucking weird. They did this whole, like, it was almost like they shot it on a fucking iPhone where they just used portrait mode the entire time. Strange. I couldn't quite place why I didn't like the movie. Because I ended up just not really caring for the movie. Like, it was neither here nor there. But if I had to pick one between liking it or not liking it, I would have to probably say I didn't like it. It's because I'm okay with this being like a mindless zombie movie, right? Completely fine with that. I know that's why we're here. I'm not under the impression that we're going to get some sort of masterclass in storytelling, right? But the things that they chose to like kind of just gloss over was just so stupid that it was just like, why? Why do this? Like, for instance, I'm gonna throw a couple things at you. You let me know how you feel about these things, okay?
All right.
The first thing is, why the fuck? This is maybe the most offensive thing in the entire movie. Why the fuck did they not help Chambers? The
first woman who died.
It was so baffling to me watching it live that I had to like rewind and be like, did I fucking miss something? Like, yo, she fucking does the impossible and fucking somehow survives an entire fucking room of zombies after she's locked in there with them. And then she fucking does a fucking Tomb Raider dive through a fucking window to get away from them. And they're all standing in the same room, like 5 feet away from her, all with guns, and they're supposed to be zombie killers, and they're just like, she's dead, and it's like, bitch, what?
So I'll give you that. I do think like they could have very much lit those zombies up and saved her, But I also at the same time think her like sacrifice was kind of like necessary because they would have been fucked if they had all those zombies chasing them.
They had grenades, they had ammunition. This was at like the beginning of their journey, so they still had all their shit with them. It's just unreasonable to me because watching it live, it wasn't as if I thought about this afterwards. Watching it live, I was like, what the fuck? Like, because it like there was at the time when they're like just leave her, there was like 2 zombies on her, and it was like, yo, just pat, and then tell her to kick it in high gear, and we out of there,
Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, like I do think that they could have I'm not gonna say very easily, but they could have definitely saved her, or at least attempted to save her. Maybe kill her character off down the road. So sure, yeah. One small, not necessarily plot hole.
It wasn't a small plot hole.
Something that could have been done better.
Shit was ginormous to me. That didn't make any sense. Okay, and then the other, if you would call it a plot hole, the whole idea of them going for the heist makes precisely 0 sense. It was completely pointless. So what I mean by that is, all right, so the dude hires them to go get the money, right? But really he has ulterior motive. He's trying to get the head of this queen zombie, right? They see the queen zombie within like the first 10 seconds of being in the place, right? And also, why didn't he just tell them that that's what they were there for? And if they're there, they can have the money if they want it. But he really just wants the head, right? Because then they could have gone about shit differently and developed a different plan where they wouldn't have to people wouldn't have to be sacrificed, because the dude who was there on behalf of the company or whoever the fuck it was, or I don't know if the guy worked for the government or if it was like just a private company. I don't know. But it was like, well, why didn't he just tell them that, like, because he did like devious shit, like locked them in places, but it's like, well, why did he need to? Like, what was the point?
So it was my understanding that there were like a couple of different things here at play, right? So there was the guy who hired everybody, which is the guy who also played Scorpion in
Mortal Kombat.
In Mortal Kombat, I believe his name is Hiroyuka. Damn, it's right here. Hiroyuka Sanada, or he played Bly Tanaka in the film, right? Mm-hmm. And the other guy, was his name Martin? Is that his name?
Oh, I like in the actual, I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah, in the movie. So it was Martin, played by Garrett Dillahunt. So I think Bly Tanaka's character hired them to get the money, right? And his head of security, Martin, he had his own agenda where he wanted to get the head of the queen because he knew that it would be worth a lot of money on the black market for anyone who wanted to essentially create their own zombie army, right? So they went in initially to get the money, and then halfway in, the guy, Martin, kind of like had his own side mission that they went on where he cut off the head of the queen and blah, blah, blah. That is my understanding of it.
No, I'm saying, all of that is correct. All I'm saying is, why didn't he just tell them about that? Because it wasn't as if or even just whether they told them at the beginning or whether he told them during it, like, what opposition are they really going to have with that? You know what I mean? Like, are they going to be like what I didn't, it wasn't as if that was a deterrent for them. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't as if that conflicted with them getting the money. So there was no like conflict there. And so it's like, well, why be secret about it? It would actually benefit him to do so, because I think he didn't even go to like the helicopter, which is how he got deboed by the by the tiger zombie. But if he would have went to the helicopter instead with them, then he probably would have lived instead of getting his fucking face chewed off.
Yeah. So you're saying if he would have said, "Hey, listen, I'm just here for the head of the queen. Yeah. You guys can keep the money. Let's all get what we want and get the fuck out of here." I mean, sure. I think that would have been maybe like a better strategy for him. But I also think someone like him, he's like, you know what? I don't want any, I don't want to leave any loose ends. I want to get what I want to get. Everybody else is going to die just so that, like, his boss, Bly Tanaka,
but that's just it.
Would never have known, that happened.
Well, why would his boss care? Just bring me the fucking head of the zombie. I don't care if they survived or if they didn't. I'd like whether they live or
No,
they.
see, so the thing is, I think Blight Tanaka actually wanted the money. He sent them in to get
No,
his one. Because
no,
remember, the
absolutely
government,
not.
the government had reimbursed him, and he wanted that 200 million, or what was would have been his 150 million dollars that was in that vault. I don't think he knew about the other guy's plan to get the head of the queen.
Oh
So
no no
he,
no no no! I think from the get go, and you can tell because like that's the reason why he sent him in there. Like he was sent, the dude was sent with the mission of doing that. I think it's pretty heavily implied that Tanaka knew that, like, oh, you're going on this side mission because there was always something.
no, I mean that's an insurance policy. Like if I'm sending a group of people in there to get my $200 million, I'm also going to have one of my people accompany them to make sure that the thing that I hire this group of people to do gets done. I don't think he was in
But
on the
why would
plan
you?
to get the head of the queen.
Why would you? Okay, so if that was your plan, why would you only send one person when they could just turn around and just shoot that dude? Like
I can't. Yeah, I mean, I can't send the fucking Lakers to go. Like too many people to get in and out. The helicopter that was there on the roof can only carry so many people. So I think he can only send one of his guys.
Right. So again, so even if his idea is like, okay, so say the dude's going rogue, right? Even for the dude's own self-preservation, why wouldn't you just kill two birds with one stone? Okay, let them get the money, and my boss gets his money as well as I complete the mission for him, and I'm taking his head back so that I can double up on my fortune. Instead of just going it on my own. And his plan, I guess, was to like run out of the place with all the fucking zombies all over the place, like instead of the helicopter.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying it's pretty.
I do think his plan was flawed, and which is like, I guess, part of the story, right? Like, here's a situation where this character could have easily just let everybody know, like, hey, this is my plan. I'm here on my own mission. You guys have your mission to carry out. Our missions do not conflict with one another. We can all make it out of here alive. But he was like more of a snake type of person, where he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck you guys over. I'm gonna get what I want. And then you guys, I'm going to tie up all loose ends. So, yeah, I mean, I think that I don't necessarily view that as like a sore thumb for the film. I think that it just kind of spoke to like that character's nature.
Fair enough. The other thing that I was puzzled at was, okay, it's what, like there's something like 200 million in there, right?
Yeah.
Like in the vault. For one, how are they planning on getting that out on the fucking helicopter? Like that seems like a lot of fucking weight to be carrying around, plus the fucking 8 people that they were expecting to bring back, right? And then on top of that, how are they expecting to do that in 20 minutes? Like I'm very like, when we got to that part, it just got so weird as far as like the time goes, because it's like, okay, we have 20 minutes because they sped up the nuclear bomb that's supposed to drop, right? Oh, not to mention the dude who took the head. He had precisely like 20 minutes to get out, but he was going to like run out. And it's like, I don't, unless you're fucking Jesse Owens or fucking Michael Johnson. I really don't feel like this is a rational plan. But they only had 20 minutes, but like the rest of the movie is like an hour long. And it just, I don't know. The suspension of disbelief is just like, it was astounding. Like nothing really after the point when they were down and by the vault, nothing really just made any sense. Like, not that it made a whole lot of sense to begin with, but a lot of it just didn't. It just felt like we were just fucking freestyling at that moment in time.
I will admit, yeah, that's true. Like he was gonna just like run out of the quarantine zone with the head of the queen, and like unless he had like the new Tesla Roadster, like there's no way he's gonna outrun the like what is it called? Like the shockwave.
Yes.
Yeah. How are they going to get $200 million in cash, which is a lot of cash? It's very heavy on this like old rinky dink helicopter. Why didn't they just fly in new helicopters instead of like come in through the ground? How the fuck did Ghost get out of the fucking vault, which was like buried underneath an entire casino that crumbled?
And they got hit by a nuclear bomb. Like, I feel like he immediately is going to fucking start decomposing or some shit as soon as he's like exposed.
There would have been a shit ton of nuclear fallout, like and debris. I don't think he would have been able to breathe. He would have fucking died instantly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say he did somehow make it to BWI to catch a flight before realizing that he got bit, which is kind of like just irresponsible. I mean, the number one thing I do is check myself, make sure my dick is good, make sure I didn't get bit. Well, get something to eat.
Again, what was really confusing about that is that I feel like they established throughout the course of the movie that pretty much as soon as you get bit, it's pretty much a wrap for you at that moment in time, right? Like the dude at the very beginning of the movie, when the dude got bit on the neck and then immediately like woke up like 10 seconds later and was like, I'm a zombie now. And then throughout the course of the movie, they established this, that as soon as you get bit, it's pretty much a wrap. Like it starts like whatever the venom is or whatever the fuck it was, it starts, right? How many hours was it? But like by the end of the movie, he still hadn't turned into a fucking zombie, even though he'd been bitten.
Yeah. I think he was on a transatlantic flight to Dubai, which is at least 16 hours before. And like they were about to descend into Dubai airspace before he realized that he got bit. So yeah, I mean, granted, yes, he's in great shape. So maybe if you're not like, overweight or just like, you eat a healthy amount of protein per day, or just drink some pre-workout, maybe it like, delays it a little bit, but still 14 hours later, I think it's about time.
Yeah. And like, again, these inconsistencies in the movie just made it pretty much unbearable for me to watch from like I can at least have fun with this standpoint. It was just so stupid. But then the last thing that I'll say is like this whole idea of the alpha zombie, right? This is not new. Like, why are we pretending as if this is new? Is this not some I Am Legend shit? Like, are we going to pretend like they didn't have an alpha zombie in I Am Legend? Like, albeit
okay, I'll give you that.
Not to the degree that it was here in terms of like the alphas were like were a pretty big factor in the movie here, but that was already done in fucking I Am Legend, probably better if I'm being perfectly fucking honest, because this dude fucking had like a helmet on and this shit. It was like, all right, well, if you're that smart, then I mean, I feel like you could organize this shit a little better than what the fuck you're doing. But I don't know, dude. All in all, I don't know. I didn't really care for the movie. I just thought that the things that were bad about it were so bad to the point where I couldn't even take it for the mindless zombie movie that it was supposed to be. It was truly stupid.
Fuck that. Listen, I really like this movie. I do. I think again, I really like this lately. This trend of getting what I pay for. Right? Godzilla versus King Kong. Fuck a storyline. I just want to see Godzilla fight King Kong. I don't need Millie Bobby Brown. Limit her to 7 minutes. Right? And I got what I paid for. The Justice League movie. I just want more action. Got it. This movie, Army of the Dead, I just want to see zombies get fucked up, a little bit of a storyline, some action, explosions, more zombies getting fucked up. I got what I paid for. Could I have gotten a little bit more? Sure, maybe a better storyline, maybe a few things made a little bit more sense. But I don't think if you came in with like level expectations based off of what type of movie this is, I don't think you were undersold. I think you got what you paid for. I also love Dave Bautista. He's been on a fucking roll lately.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. Bautista, his acting was good. I don't think the direction was particularly great in this movie, but I think the acting, specifically from Bautista and then honestly, pretty much just Bautista. The only other dude who I thought did a good job, or person who I think did a good job, was the like the safe hacker dude. I thought he, like, some of his lines were stupid, but I thought he at least came across like convincing in terms of his character.
Yeah, I think his name is Matthias Schweigeroff, and he played Dieter, the guy Dieter. I also like the Lily, the coyote. She's the actress Nora Arnesder. I think like she played her real well. I liked her. I was sad to see her go in the end.
Yeah. Alas, What else? Army of the Dead. Is this a remake? Not really. It's its own kind of thing. From what I understand, the first Army of the Dead movie was just it wasn't even remotely like resembling this. It wasn't even about zombies, really. I mean, I guess depending on what your definition of zombies are, but it was just a bunch of like fucking skeletons running around and shit. Um, but yeah, this was it was missable, but at least for me. But they do have some a prequel, two prequels, I think, coming on Army of Thieves. It's supposed to be dropping actually this year, which is weird.
For based off of like prequels to this movie that we just saw.
Correct. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
They're just like, yo, we're gonna cash in on this hype like right now.
I
drop them all at the same time.
Yeah. It's like somebody putting out like all their mixtapes at the same time, even though, you know, they're unsure.
The Carter 1, the Carter 2, 3, and 4. Drop them all right now.
The
Drake's A side, B side, just like drop it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was our look at Army of the Dead. Let us know in the comment section what the fuck you think of Army of the Dead. Do you like it, hate it, indifferent? Let us know. Okay, we're gonna move on.